It's great to get back in the game week after having a week off, and during that week off is just get the practices in, and it's all about effort. It's about assignment, fundamentals, and technique, and just like the overall attitude. You're losing that game to UCLA, it still kind of burns, and you want that to burn because you want to see in that locker room afterwards just how much it hurt, and it hurt a lot of the players, and that's where you know that you're taking strides and you're getting better and better. But this is a good Kansas team, and we know this. Anytime you go on the road, you have to pack your defense. I said to the defense, because what's important is the defense takes the crowd out of the game. And you want to pack your discipline because you have to be a disciplined football team. You have to have your focus, and you have to have your special teams because that's all about changing the field position and the togetherness where you have to play together, and then just making sure that we go and compete, and we go and compete at the highest level. But looking forward to it, and just knowing this, that we got a few more days to get ready for it, and we should be prepared and be ready and be focused and locked in.
Charlie, is there any updates on any of the suspended guys?
Mike, no update on the suspended guys. None of them will play this game. None of them will play.
Coach, just a quick follow-up to that. You told us that the last availability that Desmond Harrison and Kennedy Estelle could be eligible to return to practice at some point. Are they going to at least be returning to – is there a timeline for their return to practice? And then DJ, we understand he's back at practice. Is there anything different about the levels of the suspensions between the two tackles and a guy like DJ Johnson?
No, it's no difference. What happened? DeJay's been practicing, and the two tackles will eventually return. Just don't know. It'll probably be one day this week, but not for sure what day that's going to be.
Coach, at Louisville, when you took over, you started 1-2. Any similarities that you're seeing here, and does it help? Because things worked out pretty well there. Does it give you that frame of reference that, like, we're going to be fine?
Well, it's when you look at Louisville, what was really different is that when you took over, it was a senior offensive line. So it was a pride was there because they wanted to prove that whenever you talk about a foundation and where it starts up front. So it's where it really started for us. So we ended up winning 6 games, but you go into that last game, we had to win the last game of the year to even become bowl eligible. Then you come back the second year. At one point, the second year, we were 2-4 and looking to go on the road to West Virginia. So I was looking at that schedule, and I was like, oh, my God, we ain't going to win another game. We're going to go to West Virginia. Then we go to West Virginia, beat them, and go and win 5 out of the next 6. But it's coming. I mean, we have a really good team, and it's got to come together. And I told the seniors, it's all about it's their leadership. And your senior year, you like to see them go play their best football. And some of our seniors aren't playing their best football right now. Until that changes, then it's not going to change until, we start developing pride, and we have pride within ourselves and pride within the team.
Yeah, Charlie, a week or so ago, you thought you had enough talent to win this year. In assessing that talent, do you feel like you have enough talent to compete and win in the Big 12 this year?
Well, is win enough games? I mean, we're going to go and compete each and every week, and that's what we're going to do. So the winning, if we play well enough, then we should win. But we're going to go compete.
And you have enough talent?
Well, the talent's there.
In the middle, Brian.
Charlie, Big 12. The Big 12 has always been a high-flying, offensive-driven league. Knowing the cards you're dealt offensively, though, how do you squeeze more big plays out of the group you've got?
Well, we're going to have to squeeze them somehow because you're right. It's a scored matchup, and you look at some of the games, one to score, then the next they follow up with another score. But we're going to have to score points, and we know we're going to have to, and we're just going to have to generate some offense and generate some big plays.
Coach, obviously you guys are 1-2 overall, but you're 0-0 obviously in the Big 12 conference. How much do you emphasize, hey, this is a fresh start for conference play?
Well, I told him, man, it's the start of we had phase 1. So phase 1 was the non-conference, and now it's phase 2 now. So it's all about conference play, and each game counts. So it starts this week with Kansas, and that's why it's critical that we can't go and slip one. We got to go play our best.
How many phases do you have?
Well, it's just 2 phases with this because now it's a conference. So it's phase 1 with non-conference, phase 2 with the conference.
Right, Chip?
Charlie, can you give us an update on Greg Daniels and where he is?
Greg came back to practice yesterday, Chip, and we just slowly just moving him in, and just hopefully by the end of the week we'll just see where he is, and then be able to assess exactly just with the injury and see if he'll be able to help us this week.
Charlie, beginning of the season, Cedric Reed was an All-American candidate. Why aren't the sacks coming from him? Is it just a case of too many double teams, or is there something else?
Well, said it's always hard when you look at a season where said had 10 last season. I think right now he's sitting at 1. You still have 9 games to play, so it's so too early to evaluate. What teams are doing to him. It's all about everybody just picking up their playing better.
In the middle, Roger.
Coach, this team was in this spot last year, and obviously they got things rolling pretty good. Do you also call on them to say, hey, you guys have done this before?
Well, I said it to him. I said, a year ago we was looking down the same situation, and it happened, and then we just got on a roll and we started winning a lot of games. So the same thing can happen again. It's just we got to make up our mind to go do it.
Number left, Mike.
Charlie, when you talk about wanting more big plays from your offense, how do you envision that happening? Is that in the running game, in the passing game? And what do you think of how Malcolm Brown and Jonathan Gray have played so far?
Well, you look at the quarterback position now, and he's had 2 games under his belt, and he's playing a lot better. So now you can open it up some, and then you just have to win outside at the wide receiver position. With Marcus, he's fast enough where we can get on top of people and get the ball down the field. And then with the running backs, we got to do a better job of just blocking and open up the holes and letting those guys, because you have 2 talented running backs. Now it's just about with the offensive lineman making sure we get a man on each man and let those backs squeeze through. And I told him, I said, it isn't always going to be block perfect for you. Sometimes you're going to have to run over someone, but we need to get that done.
In the back, Anthony.
Coach, how dangerous is Kansas?
Well, you look at their quarterback, and you got to have a quarterback in Kozar, a guy who can just move around. He can throw the ball, got a good enough feet where he can get out of pressure. And the Avery, the running back Avery, we recruited him last year, but ended up where we had our backs already. But he has enough speed, and they can win outside with the receivers because they have good height at the wide receiver. But you're going on the road and you're going into their place, so it's always tough when you go to someone else's home because they're going to play their best, but we got to play our best, and it's going to be on the road. So it's always dangerous when you're going into someone else's territory.
Hey, Coach, with the off week, obviously a big recruiting week, and going to visit some of these prospects. How are they responding to the 1 and 2 start, and is that an obstacle that you're having to overcome with any of them in recruiting?
No, the recruits are still out there, and you're at the University of Texas, so you're going to be able to get the recruits. It's us making sure that we get the right ones and get the ones that we really want. So because the recruits, I don't think the 1 and 2 start has anything to do with it because it's a lot of young men out there that hadn't made up their mind, and so they're looking at us. So the thing about us, we just got to make sure that when we go and recruit, that it's the right fit for our program.
Anybody else have a question? Raise your hand. Over on your right, Kurt.
Charlie, I don't know if you've seen every team in the Big 12 yet, but now that you're starting league play, how would you assess the strength of the league, and are any perceptions that you have different than you had coming in?
Well, I've always had respect for this league, and you look at Oklahoma, look how well they're playing, and they go on the road and beat West Virginia, and then you look at Kansas State. It's only a play or 2 away. If the ball bounces off the shoulder pads and there's a touchdown right there, and they have Auburn on the rope. So it's a really strong league. Have always, like I said, has always have had a lot of respect for this league, and it's a really strong league. And now that we're in this league, so we're going to go battle some really good teams. So it's all about us and making sure that we do the right things also. But it is a strong league. Have a lot of respect for it.
In the middle, Brian.
I just want to double check. You are Hassan Ridgeway is going to start for Tank.
Hassan Ridgeway is going to start.
Will he start in Tank's place?
At which position?
At nose. At nose.
No, what it is, we just go move him around, Brian, and put him in the right spot. But no, what we do up front, you would go with Ced Reed, you go with Big Mount, you go with Ridgeway, and then you go with Sharo. All right.
Coach, can you reveal who's going to go out for the coin toss? And
Hey, what about that one, huh? You love that one. Wow. I said, okay, they win the toss, guys. So they win the toss, so they the first. So we take the ball. So they're having a conversation. So one of the players like, hey, you want to play defense? Yeah, we want to play defense. and said, okay, so we want to play defense. So I said to the official, I said, no. I said, why would I ever want to give them the ball twice? I mean, just really, why would? I said, just look aside. So I said, just look at me. So why would I want to give them the ball twice? And so the player, they felt so bad. So I couldn't really rip the players. I mean, it was like, Coach, I just got caught up in the emotion of the game. I said, I know, but calm down. I said, so what really happened? Coach, I just said, let it be. All right, let's just go play defense. Let it be.
Who's got the honors this week?
I haven't named them yet.
Charlie, going back to Ridgeway for a second, though, he's played very well as a backup. He's got some very good numbers. Are the numbers, are what you seeing on film as indicative as what his numbers are showing?
Oh, without a doubt, playing very well. And the thing about it, he was playing behind Malcolm. Now he gets an opportunity to go start. But the thing about Ridgeway, he's so strong and so powerful, and he's big and strong enough where he can get off blocks and make plays. You just see him just engulf people and just throw them back, and then just reach over and get sacks. But he's playing very well. Just love just his whole attitude.
On your left, Alex.
Coach, can you tell us about Darius James and his progression, and if there's any opportunity that we might see a little bit more of him moving forward?
Well, it's with that offensive line. It's each and every week. It's a piecemeal, and we're just trying to get it all put together. And each, Darius is doing fine. He's getting better each and every day. He's practicing well. So it's just a matter of when we're going to play him.
On your right, Kirk.
Back to Cedric Reed, because he doesn't have big numbers. Are you happy with the way he's playing, or has he been a disappointment?
No, he hasn't been a disappointment. I am happy. You're 3 games into it, and you know what happens a lot of times. Someone can have a great junior year, and then they come back their senior year, and they may not have the numbers. And you look at when you think about last year, you had Jeffcoat on one side, you had Sept on the other side, and then with Jeffcoat being the force that he was, and he was creating a lot of sack opportunities, then they were able to get flushed to Sept. But Sept's playing fine. I think that, we get caught up. He's playing well enough for us. So I'm not getting caught up in the numbers because I know we see 10 sacks from last season. And, they just each and every year it doesn't go that way for you.
On your left, Mike.
Charlie, do you guys cover punts differently than you did at Louisville? And can you speak to special teams in general? What your feelings on that have been?
Yeah, what happened with the punt, and it all comes into one play because what you need is the ball needs to be punted in the right direction. So when we set the punt, it should have been kicked to the left, and it was kicked down the middle. So your coverage is to the left because you try to pin the returner to the boundary. So then he catches the ball in the middle, so most of your coverage is going to the left, and then all of a sudden he beats one of the gunners, and the gunner gets pinned, so now he gets to their wall. So even when he got to the wall, we had an opportunity because when he got to the wall, I think we had a defender on the 45-yard line, a defender on the 50. He got hit on the 45, and then he bounced off, and then he kept moving. And then when he got hit, it's just like we kind of just stopped instead of just continue to run. And you have the sideline, use the sideline. He's going to step out of bounds. It's just let's knock him out of bounds, and then we'll allow him to get the ball to the 33-yard line. But we got to do a better job of covering the punt. And like I said, that should have never, ever happened. No way that should have happened. It should. And then, the ball has to have a little hang time. It was more of one of those that just jetted off his foot. So even when it jets off and then the coverage is not there, where you outkick the coverage, is a perfect example of outkicking your coverage.
The middle, Roger.
Charlie, Tyrone said now he's earned some respect because he's made plays with his guys. What have you seen in practice? Now he's had a bye week. The news with David last week that he realizes this is his offense to go forward.
It is, and that's what he's done. He's realized this is his offense, Roger, and his confidence is just building each and every day. And that's what you like out of him. You think back to that spring game, and we all said, oh, my God. It was like, woo. And then he comes in. Then he comes in against, he plays well against BYU, and then UCLA gets better, and he's just the thing he's doing now is becoming a student of the game, which he didn't before. He never put his time in because usually if you don't think you're going to play, you're not going to put your time in. So now that he realized that, hey, you know what, this is my team now. This is my offense. Now I really have to put my time in, and that's what he's doing.
You're right. Chip.
Charlie, have you, in going back and looking at the UCLA game, have you figured out why they were able to run it in the second half? And do you think with Tank going down, you get Puna or Chris Nelson involved?
Well, Chip, when I look at that game, the second half, the first play, we miss a tackle where if you hit the ball right there, there's a missed tackle. It's, 2nd and 8. And then we get them to 4th down, we miss a tackle. We're off the field, they don't get the field goal. So it's not so much with them just, running the football. We had our opportunities to stop them. And it's about gap integrity and getting off. But I have not looked at using a young freshman yet. We have enough where we can rotate with the guys that we have, the vets that we have, that we feel like that we can rotate them enough where we can get the guys on the field that we need out.
Charlie, the bye week came at a natural break in the season from non-conference to conference, but now you're playing 8 straight conference games, 9 straight conference games. Is that going to be hard to deal with, not getting a break in the middle of the conference?
Yeah, what you usually like to see happen is that bye week coming around, game 6, right after game 6 or 7. So now you've, played half of the season. Now you get a rest, then you go tune it up and go play the second part of the season. But with the coming away dead now, it's, we played 3. Now we got to go 9, and we had to go play, and you don't have that rest. But you would have loved to have had it where you could have, balanced it up where you had it in the middle.
On the right, Kurt.
Charlie, you played very few freshmen this year. Is that dangerous when you're trying to redshirt them to build for a long-term program, when you're trying to get momentum and go to a bowl game, or are they just not good enough to help right now?
Well, it's not so much they're not good enough. It's just that you have enough in place right now where you can use the sophomores and juniors that you've had in the program. And you love to play freshmen, but if they're not ready, I'm not going to take a freshman and just play him, for 20 or 25 snaps and then waste a full year on a young man. Then you think back and then you sit there and say, hey, you know what, he gets to a junior, senior, where you say, I wish I could have had him another year, but we end up playing him those, very few snaps. And that happens a lot where you see a lot of, you get to the senior year and you see a young man say, well, my freshman year coach only played 20 snaps. And you don't want to see that happen.
Coach, do you think your players have lost any bit of confidence after 2 losses? What have their attitudes been like so far?
Well, I would hope to not think they would lose confidence after 2 when you got 9 and you got the conference looking at you. So you have the conference to go play for now.
Coach, you've got 3 games under your belt heading into league play. Where has this team shown progress? Where would you still like to see them improve?
Well, if you look at where you think we've shown progress is at the quarterback position with Tyrone getting better. And then you like to think that just on defense, we can play better than what we're playing. But it's all about us getting off the field on 3rd down because we've had the opportunities there on 3rd down where we didn't get off the field. And now it's all about confidence. It's all about us just continue to play. And it's just, a lot of times you look out there and you say, just finish the game. We have to play for 60 minutes, and that's what we're not doing. Just go finish the game. Yeah, I think back to that UCLA game, and there was 5 plays there where we hit a stretch of 5 plays that just hammered us. And then those are the deciding plays within that game that really cost us that game, where we just go finish the game. It wasn't the one play where we get beat on the double move. We can look back at the punt return where the ball should have never gotten down there. But it's just different plays that hurt you, where you have to go back and just assess it and just say, if we just go finish, guys, just finish the game. It's a 60-minute game.
In the middle, Brian.
Charlie, going back to the freshman question, no quarterback would want to waste a year on, like you're saying, 20, 25 plays. But just how delicate of a tightrope is it with Gerard? You want to get him ready because you never know when he could play, but at the same time, you don't want to waste a year, like you're saying.
Well, right now, it's going to depend on the flow of the game and just even within each game that we play, because you just never know. We ain't had an opportunity yet to play them. So it's just going to depend on how the season goes and just, game by game.
On your right, Max.
Charlie, from an offensive production standpoint, what do you feel like you need to see this week? A lot of the numbers are down, although you've obviously played very good opponents. What are you looking for? What concerns you so far?
Well, you talk about the offensive production, and you go into the first game with Ash, so you get numbers there because you have a veteran quarterback, and then all of a sudden we lose him. So now you come in the second game with a whole new offense, and then even with the offensive line, you're trying to piece it together, and you like to just see just more explosive plays where we can get the ball down the field, and it'll happen. It'll eventually happen because the more the quarterback plays, the more confidence he will gain, and then he can feel like, I can stand back here and just deliver the ball without feeling pressure. Because a lot of times with a quarterback, whenever he feels pressure, he want to get rid of it quickly. But now when he feel like, you know what, I can stand back here and take a hit and let the ball be delivered down the field. I think we threw one down the field against UCLA. It was thrown inside the hash, and he got hit as he released it. But the opportunities will come now because as long as because with our play action game, it'll open up because people will start sitting on the play action game, and then you'll be able to get the ball down the field.
Yeah, Charlie, when you consider lifting the suspension, specifically the offensive tackles, can you or do you at all consider, the impact it has on your tailbacks and on swoops, having to play without those guys blocking for them?
Well, when I decided to lift it, I think it'll have an impact. But the players understand too that there's a reason why those guys are suspended too.
When you mentioned the 5 plays that turned that game, where you could have won that game if you played better, is that a matter of the teams that have won before have an easier job with those 5 key plays than teams that haven't won before? And is that a skill that you can learn over time, how to win in those situations?
Well, it's the skill about just learning how to win, and then when you finish, you go back to the punt, and it's more of, okay, we punt the ball, so let's get down the field and cover. Don't count on someone else to go down the field and cover, and you look, and guys aren't just running down the field, and then you look at the skill with the double move. We played it the whole game, and that's all we talked about. Every time we took the field, listen, be ready for the double move. That's all they have. And you knew at some point it was going to come. And you look for it after a big play because they had a big play on a punt return. So now here it comes because it's coming now, guys, without a doubt. They got to do something because they think that we're back on our heels because we just gave up a big punt return. So we're sitting back on our heels. So now they're going to release one, and they released it at the right time. But it's just where you just got to stay locked into the game, stay focused, and you just knowing, hey, at some point it's going to be a point in this game where it's going to be a play to turn it. Now, who's going to make a play? Is it going to someone for us going to make it, or is it going to be someone for them?
I'm sorry, is it troubling that guys are looking for somebody else to make a play in that situation?
Not so much they're looking for someone else to make it. It's all about them just making sure that they get down the field and go cover the punt.
Charlie, on special teams, do you look to make any changes in the return game in terms of who's returning kicks or punts?
No, because you look at our punt return there, and the key thing for us is to get it caught. That's why Ship is back there. And what we try to do, we want to be a block team, and I think we end up roughing twice there. Well, one time we just run underneath the punter. If we duck and just run underneath him, we never would have hit him. But you like to go for the block if you get enough, and we're close enough. It just matters just getting it, getting a hand on the ball. And then the kickoff return, you would like to think that we're fast enough where it's just use your speed and just explode. Just use your speed and let's get positive yards. The ball is kicked. If the ball is kicked on the 10-yard line, if we feel it on the 5 or 10, you would think we can get 20 yards without someone running downfield and tackling us on the 20-yard line.
Back middle, Chris.
Talking about finishing, why hasn't the team been able to finish? Is it a lack of maturity or a lack of toughness? What do you attribute that to?
No, I don't think it's a lack of toughness at all. It's just a matter of just getting it done. And, a lot of times when you get into games and you look at a game like the UCLA game, it's all about someone has to go make a play. Now, who's it going to be? And you like to see someone step up and go make a play, and let's go in this game. And it got to where you get relaxed because you think about it, they're driving, we get the fumble recover. I mean, everybody thought the game was over. And it never was, but everyone relaxed. Everyone thought the game was over. Then we go out there on offense, and then we go 5. Malk takes a handoff. He goes for 5. Now 2nd and 5. Then we get a sack, and then we get the 3rd down, and we don't convert. And then it comes a punt. But everybody kind of relaxes. You can't ever relax. That's why I'm talking about finish. The game is never over until it's over. So let's go finish the game out. And we didn't finish the game out.
You right, Kirk?
Charlie, you said in your second year at Louisville you started 2-4. And you weren't sure you're going to win another game. You're 1-2 now. What is your confidence level right now in making a bowl game this year?
Well, it's what it is, Kurt. It's game by game, and I don't look down the road. I just say let's just take them one at a time. That's the only way you can look at it now. It's one at a time, and let's take it game by game, and then we'll just see where we are. But it's because a lot of times, because if you look down the road, you're sitting there and say, okay, what about this game? What are you going to do here? What are you going to do here? But we can only take it game by game.
You left, Ryan.
Charlie, how close is Jason Hall to maybe getting a starting spot or getting more playing time based on his performance against UCLA?
Well, he played a lot against UCLA because he's in on the nickel package, so he's the safety on the nickel package. He's a starter. So he plays a lot, and he had a really outstanding game. And the thing about him, he plays with a lot of energy, a lot of passion, and he brings a lot to the team. So he'll play a lot. He's been playing a lot.
Coach, you said got to pack your defense and special teams on the road. In your experience as a coach, is there a different attitude to win on the road as opposed to when everything seems to be going your way at home with the crowd, et cetera?
Well, what I try to tell them, the reason why I say you pack the defense because you have to take the crowd out of the game, Roger. But and I tell our players, it's what you have to realize. Whenever you go on the road, they're yelling for you. So don't ever think the crowd is not yelling for you because I always say they didn't come to watch the other team; they came to watch us. But you know what happens? The fans can't come on the field, so they have no control of their team. Whatever happens on the field is us. But it's all about us controlling it with our defense. Take the crowd out of it. And the special teams is so critical because it changes the field position. Because now is when you really have to be focused on special teams. You really have to. Because you can't give up a block punt or, even with return yardage, we need to get positive yardage. But the defense is key. Defense is totally key. Anytime you're on the road, it's all about the defense and how well they can play.
Charlie, going back to Jason Hall for a second, maybe not necessarily this week, but definitely the next 9 weeks, y'all are going to play nickel a lot. What is your confidence level about those 5 guys and the formations and just how you feel about that right now?
The 5 as in the secondary, but it's got to be the defense. It's not just those 5 guys. If you can't create pressure up front, you have no chance. Those guys have no chance in the back end. If you can't get pressure on the quarterback and get off blocks, so it's a combination. It's everyone involved, just not just those 5 guys.
On the right, Anwar.
Hey, Coach, obviously Kansas has struggled over the past few years, but do you think your team's loss to BYU really kind of hammered home the point of you can't be too overconfident and take anybody lightly?
Well, you would like to think that each and every week you have to go out and get prepared, and you don't want to ever take anyone lightly. And that's why you can't, because I tell them all the time, just look across the country, look at different scores across the country, and you can't ever relax. We have to go in with the right mindset that we're going to get their best. You're going to get, and I tell them all the time, anytime someone plays at University of Texas, you will get their best. And that's what we have to be prepared for, their best. Now, if they're going to come with their best, we better come with our best. We better come with our A game and be ready to go play.
Time for one last one in the back, Matt.
Coach, did you do anything, and the coaching staff do anything on the bye week to help relax the team a little bit? Coming off a disappointing loss like that, did you try to get them to settle down a little bit and maybe ease up on the intensity, or did you keep it at a high level?
Well, you still have 9 games left to go play, and it's just because you lost a close game. I don't think you ever, we went out and practiced the way we always practice, and nothing changed.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. Thank you, guys.